Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And as T-Mobile goes into Q3, Q4, and then into 2022, there's a big opportunity for T-Mobile. And it's beyond what we see in wireless today. There will always be competition on the postpaid side, but I think the growth that we've seen from T-Mobile, that space is getting very saturated, at least in the markets where they heavily compete, which is the suburban and the urban environment. And it's very competitive right now. Everybody's throwing out their promos. I know T-Mobile is a little bit more lenient on the lines. They do free lines. They do 50% off lines. That's something that AT&T and Verizon don't do. So from that perspective, T-Mobile is still a little bit more aggressive. So they may still grow postpaid lines. But the opportunity that lies ahead for T-Mobile, which I think is a very important one, is the fixed wireless space. That's a big, big, big opportunity for T-Mobile here. And as you see by the title, and this is another great article by Fierce Wireless, I will leave it in the description down below. T-Mobile sees two categories of fixed wireless opportunity. So the first opportunity for T-Mobile is, of course, the underserved market. The market that has hardly any competition, sort of closing that digital divide is what they speak of. And I think that's one of the opportunities because there's not a lot of load on the network. And in some of those cases, N71 or the Band 71, the low band extended range 5G that T-Mobile speaks of, may be even able to carry some of that load. And they may not even have to add the 2.5 N41 spectrum that they acquired from the Sprint merger. I've seen some sites do over 300 megabits a second without the N41 from Sprint. I've seen it. So in some of these areas where they have to push the signal out further because it's a more rural environment, some of these people will be able to access this home internet and get 200 to 300 megs a second and not have a lot of load on the network. So that could be a big win for T-Mobile in these cases because N41 just does not travel as far as the low band. And in this case, if you did need N41 to fill in some of that void because the speeds are being bogged down, you'd have to build another site. So that's more money. You'd have to densify. So in this case, T-Mobile may be able to play around with that opportunity and see where they can take it. And then the next opportunity are markets that are dominated by just one carrier or one cable company. It could be, in this certain, even in an urban environment, if there's an apartment complex, a townhomes where there's just one provider, T-Mobile can now step in as the second option without having to go through the apartment complex, any contracts, none of that. They can just step in and say, here's your router. We bring it to you wirelessly. So those are the main two opportunities that they see right now. The underserved areas and the areas of in the urban environment where there's only one or maybe a second option where T-Mobile can still come in as a third option. In markets where there's already, 3-4 options, that's going to be kind of tough for T-Mobile to get in there and compete. They may still be able to compete in some of those markets by bundling the services. If somebody has T-Mobile as a wireless service already, they might be able to bundle it with home internet and compete that way. But it'll be far easier for them to compete in the underserved environment and then in the environment where there's only one or maybe two options available for that consumer. So I think, just to give you guys my take on that, I think that's a very important strategy for T-Mobile. I think that needs to take priority. Because if they want to expand the postpaid lines using wireless, that's going to take a while for us to see that growth pick up again. AT&T is competing heavy. We saw that in Q2. They outgrew T-Mobile, which is abnormal. It's unprecedented. And Verizon may sneak in and become a little more aggressive and take some growth there too. We all know the MVNO space is very aggressive. So T-Mobile is looking into the rural environment to grow from the low teens market share on the wireless side to the 20% mark over 5 years. So that's going to take a long time for us to see that growth pick back up. In the short term and midterm, how does T-Mobile gain that growth back? It's with fixed wireless. As I stated in one of my other videos, you cannot sell a product. It's against the law to sell a product and not report that product. So they are reporting it from what I'm thinking. They're reporting it as a postpaid ad, as a line. So it's being added into the numbers. So they have to start growing that business. I think based on the fact that they haven't advertised it, I think it's already more of a word of mouth advertising. And I think it's already grew to a pretty substantial number. I mean, there's people telling me daily they can't get the equipment because it's backlogged. And that's the bad news right now. The demand is outstripping the supply right now before they even launch a national campaign on advertising. It's being advertised on a digital marketing scale. So you might see it on YouTube and maybe on some of your streaming platforms that have ads in them, like maybe the CW, or if you have the free version of Peacock or Hulu, you might see it there, but it hasn't launched yet during like the Olympics or, during the preseason NFL games. It hasn't launched yet. It's coming, but even at this smaller scale, it's already outstripping supply. So can you imagine when this is being advertised at a bigger scale? T-Mobile may have to go through another vendor to get more of these routers. Nokia may not be able to keep up. Go to Samsung, go to Asus, go to somebody else. Figure it out, T-Mobile. You're a business. If you know that there's going to be demand on this product, you keep talking about the cable company and how bad it is, make sure you have enough supply to meet the demand. And that's really all I'm going to say on that. 2 opportunities, huge scale for T-Mobile. They can touch 30 million households right now is what they're advertising. But there still seems to be a big issue on supply and demand. I think they need to fix that. I think they should have already fixed that. They should have had an idea that there would be big demand for this product, and they should have had supply ready. They didn't. I would say I would consider that a bit of a failure on T-Mobile's part, but maybe they'll fix it in the future and they'll get another router in there. I don't think Nokia will be able to supply them with enough. I think they'll have to go with another vendor to pick up supply. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. I think this is very important for T-Mobile, but I think they need to do it right, and I think they need to have enough supply, and then of course make sure the network is also up and ready to handle all that traffic. So if you have been on the channel or you're new to the channel and you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow my Twitter. I am posting the videos on the Twitter if you're not getting the YouTube notifications. And if not, make sure to follow my other social media outlets as well. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.